welcome to Hockenheim in Germany. Now, we're looking forward to a very exciting race, but let's start with the good news. In 2012, BMW will step in with the M3 into the DTM. We're looking very much forward to that. And now let's see what BMW's Motorsport Director, Dr. Tyson, has to say about that.
Well, it's a fantastic day for us, I think for the fans as well. DTM is the platform in European touring car racing. And the prospect to have these cars running in Asia and in the US as well is just great. We are very excited about the decision, and we are really looking forward to a strong season 2012.
Indeed, that sounds very promising. And now let's have a look at the race, which will start in just a few minutes. In the first two positions, we have Timo Scheider and Mike Rockenfeller from Audi, but they can be sure that Gary Paffett from Mercedes-Benz will be breathing down their necks. I'm sure it's going to be a very, very exciting race, and who knows, maybe today the Drivers' Championship will be decided. So hold on tight, we are ready to burn some rubber, and I'll be back with all the exclusive interviews.
Yes, thanks very much, Verena. Andrew Marriott in the commentary box. And just pick you up on one thing. The championship cannot be decided today, but it could be sorted quite close. In fact, there's 4 drivers who still have a chance of the title. Bruno Spengler, Paul di Resta, Gary Paffett and Ekstrom just has one mathematical chance. Here we are then at Hockenheim. And this the second of the 2 races here. But of course the season not ending at Hockenheim this year. But down there, Verena has been talking with Paul di Resta. I think she caught up with him yesterday.
So here I'm now with Paul di Resta. Now Paul, the qualifying yesterday didn't run that smoothly for you. You ended up in P5. How do you feel about that?
I'm a little bit disappointed inside because we certainly had the speed to be in the top 4. I just didn't take enough of the advantage we had in the last sector. Marcus Winkelhock went off a bit. I went a bit on the cautious side and was very close to going through. But no, I mean, we still have to be very positive. We're still in front of Bruno, which is our main championship opposition. We're starting on the clean side if it's dry. So there's some good positives, and it's a long race, so we can certainly hopefully gain some positions from that starting grid.
Now, you certainly are the man of the moment. You're 7 points behind Bruno Spengler, but the last 2 races you won, and in the last 4 races you actually gained 36 points. So the season so far is going really well for you.
Yeah, it is, and certainly after Nürburgring we had to get our act together and score a lot of points. Thankfully we've been able to achieve that in the last 4 races, and here we're in a good position, starting 5th. Bruno's 10th. We're on the clean side of the track. Hopefully we can get a good getaway, and it's a long race to hopefully score some good points.
Now, you surely know the feeling of being runner-up. That's what happened 2008. What did you learn from that so that this year you can actually clinch the title?
Well, I was in the same position I am now. You know, I was the chasing one. We came very close. We had a great end to the year that year, and this year is looking a bit the same. I would prefer to be in the other one, but no, you just have to give everything, and that race went down to the last lap. Hopefully this one won't. Hopefully we can get in front and it can be a bit easier, but yeah, I'm only going to do my best, and that's certainly all I can do. You know, if there's anything to complain about, it was the beginning of the year.
And now let's look into the future. I know that you tested for Formula 1 in the Force India. What is 2011 going to bring for you?
Well, I would hope to be on the Formula 1 grid. It's a long-time goal and ambition for me. It's a very personal feeling, something I've wanted to achieve and something I'm still trying to achieve. Force India have given me a great opportunity this year. I feel very comfortable in their team. They're great people. Would love to build a long future with them. You know, DTM's been great. Mercedes-Benz have been a great influence to my career so far, and I can only hope that one day, hopefully, we can work together again soon if I did go to Formula 1. But DTM's a great championship, and I need to do a job this year, and that's to win the championship first.
Thank you very much, Paul, and best of luck for the race.
Very interesting starting grid because of the wet qualifying. Timo Scheider out of the championship now, but he starts on the pole. Mike Rockenfeller, absolutely mighty in the wet. He is second. Then Gary Paffett has won the last 2 races here at Hockenheim, and Premat, his best qualifying year. Then the man we've just spoken to, Paul de Resta, and Marcus Winkelhock. He was also very good in the wet. Magic Miguel Molina, he's up alongside Audi fellow Oliver Jarvis. Then it's Jamie Green and Bruno Spengler. Spengler, one of his worst qualifying, the championship leader, of course. Martin Tomczyk, who's been put back 5 places due to a driving error in practice, and Mauro Engel. Ralf Schumacher and David Coulthard, 2 Formula 1 X's alongside each other. Matthias Ekstrom right back there, and Catherine Legg. Then Susie Stoddart, and right on the back, Kong Fu Cheng. A lot of Chinese journalists here. But let's get down to Verena again with Timo.
And now I'm here with a very focused Timo Scheider, who did a brilliant qualifying yesterday. You secured your 9th pole position. What's your strategy to win the race today?
Well, it's easy. Have a proper start to survive the first 3-4 corners, and then we will be sorted definitely, and I hope I'll be in front after that. And then we have to have a proper strategy, but the car felt quite good this morning, also in the formation lap, so I'm looking forward.
And now we're also having different weather conditions. Today it's not wet, it's dry, but also very cold. Is that better for you?
Well, at least I'm not sweating so much, but in the end it's no difference in the car. It's anywhere warm and hot, but we try our best and try to survive.
All right, thank you very much, Timo. Best of luck, and back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks very much. So Timo getting ready. Mika Häkkinen down there. I think we'll be speaking to him in just a moment. Former DTM driver. He's been doing a bit of demonstration there. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich just having a final few words with some of his drivers down there. And we've already had that BMW news, but lots of other big stories coming out this weekend. We'll get to some of those a little later as we run down to the start of the race. But obviously, Paul de Resta has got it all to do here. If he can win and Spengler gets bogged down in the middle of the field, then he is right in the championship hunt. Gary Paffett, as I said, has won the last 2 races here at Hockenheim. He won the opening race of the season and then the race a year ago here. And of course, it's a big ask for him. He's 16 points behind, but there are still 30 points in the box. So we go on from here to Adria in Italy in 2 weeks' time, and then finally to that street race in Shanghai, which should be very exciting indeed. There the physio from Mercedes, Tony, just having a final word with Gary Paffett, and a little bit of a rumour. Gary will be here again tomorrow driving a DTM car, but not on Dunlop tyres. I believe they're evaluating some other rubber for 2011. There then, the Parisienne, Alexandra Premat, has had a pretty beastly season, to be honest, and hoping for a good result today. So let's see how Premat gets on. And also, he's preparing himself for the New York Marathon in a few weeks' time. Just recently ran in a half marathon, I believe, and did very well indeed. So a fit man is Alexandra Premat. Here's a Paul de Resta then, just about to climb into his car. And very focused, the Scot. We heard him talking about his Formula 1 ambition. And the latest rumour seems to be that Adrian Sutil may leave that Force India team, possibly going to Team Lotus, or Lotus Racing, depending on what it's called next year. And that this man, Paul de Resta, will actually drive alongside Tonio Liuzzi. That's the latest rumour I have. Here's Marcus Winkelhock, who's had the most horrible season. He's had mechanical problems. He's driven off the track of his own accord, so he will be hoping to make amends here today. One of the other big stories just announced only this morning, the ITR, who run this series, have said that in principle they've come to an agreement with Grand Am to run a series of sprint cars for the future cars, the 2012 cars, but they'll run that series in 2013. And they'll run them alongside the Daytona prototypes and the GT races as a third event in those Grand Am races. And Dave Spitzer from Grand Am has been here today. He was filling me in on some of the detail. But of course, that's meant to be a world car, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the American Series for the DTM. So there we are down on the grid. The crowd is said to be 140,000 over the 3 days. The grandstand's looking a little bit emptier than I've seen here in the past, but still there's an awful lot of people here. There is that unusual grid then. Timo Scheider, Mike Rockenfeller, Gary Paffett, Alexandra Pamar and Resta, Winkelhock, Molina and Jarvis Green, and then Spengler, who of course has got to battle his way up the grid. And I think the first few laps could be absolutely explosive, but we will go down again and find out what Dr. Ulrich thinks, as we do at every race. And Verena is queuing up Dr. Ulrich right now, and as we see that huge flag flying, we can talk to Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich.
And I'm here with Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, team principal of Audi. Now it's looking very, very good here in Hockenheim for Audi, with Timo Scheider in pole position, followed by Mike Rockenfeller. You must be very optimistic about this race.
Yeah, for sure. To have 2 cars in the first row is a good base for thinking optimistic, and I'm looking forward to that race. We are going to fight. We have 7 cars in the top 9. So besides having first row, also a strong team effort, it should be a good base for a good race result.
And what is the strategy to make it as hard for Mercedes-Benz as possible in this race?
Yeah, I mean, as always, a good start is the key, and then trying to build up a gap that you are safe for your pit stop strategy, and that's what we are going to do.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck for the race. And now having a look over here, Norbert Haug is not yet there, but perhaps we can start with Mika Häkkinen. Hello, Mika. While we're waiting for Norbert Haug, now, obviously, you can give very, very good advice here for Hockenheim, because obviously as a double Formula One champion and you race in the DTM, what can you say about Hockenheim? What makes Hockenheim so special?
In DTM, you know, when I was racing in DTM in Hockenheim, I never didn't have a really good result here end of the day. Team had a fantastic result, but I didn't manage to do maximum. When I was in Formula One with Mercedes, with Norbert, we did some incredible results here. So the only advice is for these guys, you know, the Mercedes guys who are fighting for the championship, stay out of trouble, keep your foot down, bring the medal home.
It sounds so easy, but indeed it is obviously looking very good for Mercedes-Benz. Norbert, how good that you made it in time. Now, obviously, Gary Paffett starting in 3 with Bruno Spengler a little bit even further back, and Paul Di Resta. What can you say about this race? Can you somehow manage to win this race?
Well, I hope we have the speed. It does not look bad. If you look at the warm-up times, if you look at our long runs. But of course, we should have a good start first, and then we see what happens.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck, and I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting race.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. And remember, this season, Mercedes have won all but one of the races. That other race, the Audi victory, was from Ekstrom. We've got Paffett, Di Resta and Spengler have all won 2 races this season, and these 3 Mercedes drivers in this big battle for the championship. Really at the sharp end here, looking down on Hockenheim, and that is the championship position. 60 for Spengler, for Di Resta 53, Paffett 44, and then Ekstrom 34. Timo Scheider is 5th with 29, the outgoing champion, and then Jamie Green. So that is the point standings. Only the top 4 with 30 points left have a chance of taking the big title. A different Hockenheim today. We're using this new short version. It's 20% shorter. The general idea is to give more laps and more incident to the fans here, but the big fast run to the hairpin has been eliminated by a little cut through. We'll see that in just a moment. So cars warming up on this cold day, ready to go off on the warm-up lap. Obviously the start will be important. Here's the big grandstand in front of the pits, and that is absolutely packed. I'm sure they've got the firecrackers and the flares ready to go at the end of the race. As normal here at Hockenheim, it's always very busy with the fans, and there's been lots of activity, lots of big names from the German entertainment and sporting industry been around. But unusually, of course, there's one of the flares. Unusually, of course, this is not the final round. As we said before, there is another race at Adria. It's all going to finish on the streets of Shanghai at the end of November. So a slightly curious feel to this second Hockenheim of the year. The different circuit, the fact it's not the last race, but it is absolutely crucial. The post brief, I understand, it is a special news service from Deutsche Telekom. You can send an email and then it's delivered as an official letter at the other end. So that's a new idea, and that message carried on David Coulthard's car. David talking to us yesterday afternoon, saying that his decision to go to the DTM came a little bit late, and had he had a little bit more warning, he might have been a little bit more prepared, and also saying that it's absolutely his intention to continue next year. There's the grid again, which just blanks out the new bit of the circuit I was hoping to show you, but I'm sure we'll see it in just a moment. So Spengler, who has led the championship from the second round, he is really being hunted down now by teammate Paul de Resta. There's this new cut through, and it does make the track quite different. It really does eliminate 2 overtaking points, and the drivers pretty well to a man have said they don't like it. It's just where you see that top speed, that's where they cut through. Normally they went straight on and then at a hairpin joined the old circuit, but we have this revised 3.7 kilometre track today, which means we now have 47 laps and a pit window of lap 12 to lap 35. The air temperature just under 11 degrees centigrade, so it is very cold indeed. And everyone getting ready. Mike Rockenfeller, incidentally, after that great qualifying, this is his 40th start. Everyone at Audi hoping for their second victory of the year. The chances of Ekstrom retaining any chance of the title really could only happen if the 3 front Mercedes-Benz drivers all finish up in a big heap in a gravel trap. Of course it's possible, but unlikely. Everybody weaving to get this temperature into their tyres. There's Mika Hakkinen sitting down with Norbert Haug, who's in a relaxed mood when we spoke to him this morning. The Audi Brains Trust, headed by Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. There, Timo Scheider, who has now officially come out and talked about his personal problems. He has got a new lady in his life, Jessica. So the flags wave at the back. We're just about to have a launch here, and who will get the start right? Let's see, it's Scheider. Scheider makes a brilliant start. Rockenfeller as well. Pretty well everyone gets away cleanly, but Scheider turns in first. Paffett is hunting down Rockenfeller. Paffett trying to get past Rockenfeller just at the side of your picture there, and look at Paffett. And here they sweep round the right-hander, and Rockenfeller goes a little wide, but he's still defending his position. Just trying to see what the French-Canadian Spengler has jumped up a couple of spots. That's a good start from him. Pramat still in 4th place. Here they are to this new corner, and somebody goes flying through there. And they've got total trouble. Spengler seemed to start it all. Then we've got a major traffic jam. David Coulthard, amongst others, is caught up in that. We've also got Molina in it. Look at the front of Coulthard's car. He's not going anywhere. He's just going to pull that car off. That's the view from Molina's car. Catherine Legg also involved. Wow, this is disastrous for Bruno Spengler. The safety car has been deployed. Well, that's what the message says. Oh, now it moves and puts the lights on. And this is good news indeed for Paul de Resta. Paul de Resta in 4th place. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that again. There is the pace car waiting to pick up the field. And it seemed that it was Spengler who made the initial mistake. He braked far too late for that new corner. There's Catherine Legg climbing out of her car. Oh, dearie me, Schumacher's involved as well. Ralf Schumacher, what an awful season he's had. So we've got 4 cars all out of this, and this is going to take a few laps to tidy up. So, typical first lap accident. We've had them here before, usually at the first corner. This new cut through causing absolute mayhem, and Ekstrom there changing his tyres. He's obviously had a bit of drama in that incident. You see a bit of the front wheel arch, and David Coulthard decides to bring the car home rather than walk back from there, and something flew off it as he arrived in the garage. And also the stern car of Frankie Cheng, he comes in. So high drama here at Hockenheim. Just cool it down a little bit while they go around. And Winkelhock also out. So Winkelhock, Molina, Ralf Schumacher, Coulthard involved, leg. So this is decimated. Let's look at it again. Well, Spengler goes flying through, and Spengler, that seemed to unnerve everybody else, get them unsighted. Nearest to your picture is Spengler, and everybody else playing dodgem cars down there. And Spengler got away with it, but he is shown now in 10th place. This is another view. And a real dodgem car type incident. 5 cars all involved in that. That's the view from Molina. And he's turned around. Jarvis just escaping, I think. Yes, Jarvis shown in 8th place. Somehow Jarvis went through the middle of all that. Well, he managed to keep a tight line. Oh, unbelievable stuff here at Hockenheim. Let's see what Ekstrom saw. And Ekstrom is now in 12th place. I think he missed it all. Somehow, and Ekstrom getting caught up with it, but fortunately without damage. And also there's the GQ car there of Maro Engel. He was involved but also got away with it. This is Spengler's view, and just too late on the cold brakes. He went diving through. Didn't really take anybody off. And look at Mika Häkkinen's face. He's going, oh my goodness me, or whatever the finish for that is. And there's a bit of a nudging backs there. And Resta got past Primat in the aftermath of all that. And oh dear, Ekstrom back in again. He obviously picked up some debris. You see a piece in that one mechanic's hand there. And this is not good for Ekstrom. We can clearly say that he is out of the championship. Is down to the 3 Mercedes drivers now, as they go past the scene of the crime once more. And these German marshals, very efficient. There's Magic Molina. And I had a huge roar from the commentary box next to me where the Spanish commentator is, and he is desperately disappointed about that. The Red Bull car is patched up, so Ekstrom will go back in the race. We were chatting to him last night, telling us that he absolutely loved to do some more NASCAR Sprint Cup races. Remember, he's done one road race where he went very well, and then also ran on one of the short ovals, and would just love to go back and do that. Also very disappointed that he's missing the Race of Champions this year, because it does clash with Shanghai. Here's Paul Di Resta. I think we can see how he got by. That was it. Paul Di Resta then in 4th place. And no team orders between Paffett and Di Resta. Of that there is no doubt. Norbert Haug making that absolutely clear. Wouldn't be very happy if they took each other off, but they are allowed to race each other. But for the points, really Paffett or Di Resta needs to get right up there at the front and get the 10 for victory, or the 8 for second. Safety car still out. There's the board in your picture. Just seeing the C for car at the moment. So currently the order under the safety car: Timo Scheider, Mike Rockenfeller, Gary Paffett, Paul Di Resta, Alexandra Primat, Jamie Green in 6th. Then it's Martin Tomczyk, Oliver Jarvis, Susie Stoddart, Bruno Spengler down in 10th, and Maro Engel. We've seen him in the pits. And then in 12th place, Ekstrom. Coulthard is out. We think Cheng is out. Winkelhock, Molina, Ralf Schumacher and Leg are all in that pile of crumpled carbon fibre and metal that we see down at the new cut through. And indeed now we note it has been cleared away, so we're going to be back racing pretty soon. Watch for the safety car lights to go out. Might do just one more lap. Yellow flag still waving around the track, but Spengler down there in 10th place. At least he's been able to close up in the crocodile here at the moment, just behind the Mercedes in front, which is weaving. And let's see what he can do That's Susie Stoddart who is in front of him, and I think she'll let him by straight away. Let's have a look at that overtaking of Paul de Resta, right up the boot of Pramar. And then Pramar just a little bit, leaves a little bit of space, and in fact Paul fainted in the other way. Down the inside, Pramar runs wide, and in the cut through, gets past him and moves up a vital place. So there was that incident yet again from another angle. And look at Spengler all out there in the gravel, getting away with it all, and Ralf Schumacher very much involved in that. So we're still under yellow at the moment, but surely they'll be going next lap. There's Gary Paffett. And Gary, no doubt, thinking how he's going to get past Rockenfeller and get a run at Timo Scheider. Just weaving around to keep the temperature up in these tyres. The temperature keeps the tyre pressures up, and that's absolutely important. There you can see the old bit of the track that we've cut off very nicely in that picture. And I wonder if there would have been so much incident if we'd retained the old circuit, or the old new circuit, if you see where I'm coming from, remembering the great days here when we raced out into the forest. Norbert in discussion with one of the directors of Mercedes-Benz, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, with his snow hat on. Yellow flags still being waved. The race director is still not happy for them to go. Paul de Resta in the number 7 car. Been a lucky number for a lot of talented British motorsportsmen in the past. Sterling Moss winning lots of races with the number 7. He still has the 7 cufflinks I see him wearing on occasion. The pace car comes in. Barry Sheene, of course, won a lot of races all those years ago with number 7, and Paul de Resta's sporting the same number, and he's got Pramar right up his boot. But a clean start here. Jamie Green goes a little bit wide, but it's Timo Scheider, the 2008 and 2009 champion, who is leaving, and Spengler has already moved up a place as I thought he would. He's gone past Susie Stoddart, but Spengler with the work to do here. Spengler needs to get more points than the handful he's lined up for at the moment. Timo Scheider then, as Gary Paffett puts a fastest first sector in. So Paffett really charging here, always been something of an ace at Hockenheim. There they are, going past the scene of the accident. We ride with Matthias Ekstrom. Ekstrom down in 12th place with his patched up Audi. There the black car of Timo Scheider. Mike Rockenfeller, a little bit of a twitch as he went into that corner, I thought. And the rest of this depleted field going through. And there's Mike Rockenfeller, of course, in one of the 08 cars, running 25 kilos lighter, but not with quite such a good aero package as the 09 spec cars. These cars will continue for 10 until we get the new design for 11. 1.2 seconds, the gap between Scheider and Rockenfeller. And it's Paffett, de Resta, Pramar. There's Ekstrom, who's trying to get past Engel. There's Rockenfeller, the pressure is on him. Rocky really delivering here, winner of Le Mans. A move there from Paffett. And Gary Paffett really putting the pressure on, but Rockenfeller, of course, trying to defend and open up a gap so that Timo Scheider can get away from Gary Paffett. Oh, extra more problems. And, well, there, that's the end of his race. Snapped rear suspension part. Wheel at a crazy angle. Obviously a legacy of that accident. And Rockenfeller doing a good job here, riding as a rear gunner for Timo Scheider. And Gary Paffett needs to get past, and Paul de Resta now moves into the action. He's closed right up on the boot of Paffett. Timo Scheider, meanwhile, puts in a fastest of all first sector, fastest of all second sector. This is a quick lap from Timo Scheider to try and increase the gap as they go past this packed grandstand. But look at Gary Paffett trying to find a way past. Sparks flying from these DTM cars. Space frame, purebred racing cars with their V8 motors pumping out 470 horsepower. In the power race, it's pretty even Stevens between Audi and Mercedes. Not more than a horsepower in it, I would suggest. And look at Paffett again. Pokes his nose down the inside a little bit, tries to go the fast way round and outbrake Rockenfeller, but the Le Mans winner certainly knows about these DTM cars now. This is his 40th race. And suggestions that he might be promoted to the top squad next year. And look at young Paul di Resta. The man who has those great Formula One ambitions is closed right up. And Rockenfeller, how long can he hold these boys off running? Of course, not under the top apt team. As we see another shot, Gary gets down the inside, but doesn't quite make it. Rockenfeller being run by Team Phoenix, who've done an excellent job here. And Ekstrom telling the crew what went wrong. And, well, he'll be bitterly disappointed with that. Out of the championship now, Matthias Ekstrom. Brummer, who's also in a Team Phoenix run car, keeping up with the action. Spengler 9th, Stoddart 10th, and Spengler got just about half a second between him and Jarvis. That's his next target. But Rockenfeller being worried all the time, and but Gary can't carry quite enough speed into the cut through. And there is right on the tail of Rockenfeller. Can he get a better drive down the inside here now? So they switch across the track and then back again, and look at di Resta, he's right there. And meanwhile the lead has increased to 2.3 seconds. There you see it. And Rockenfeller certainly driving within the book here, but making his Audi a little bit wide. Why should he let Paffett by? He's racing for second place, and Paffett tries that same place again. Tries down the inside again, he can't make it stick. But he's got a bit more speed there for that tighter line. Just doesn't work for him. There is Gary. Lives in East Anglia these days, originally from Bromley in Kent, former karting prodigy, and now into the first turn, has got a bit more speed. Can he carry it out of there, down to this next corner? Well, Rockenfeller still watching. He must be really staring into that mirror. And again, you see, if they had the old track, maybe Gary could get a bit of a run and go around the parabolica section, and instead of carrying on down to the hairpin and do this sharp right. Again, Gary closes up. Constantina's on the brakes, takes a bit more curb than the Audi in front of him. And here's a replay of Mike Rockenfeller. And Rocky going out wide, but everyone uses that bit of track. Gary looks relaxed at the wheel of the Salzgitter car. That was the run onto the pit straight. Back with the racing action live now. And here is Paul di Resta's view of this battle in front of him. And I just wonder if Gary can get past the S-Line Audi, then maybe Paul can follow him through. Timo Scheider now with best part of a 3-second lead. And he is making hay. Well, not exactly as the sun shines, because we've got a grey overcast day, but he's certainly taking the advantage which is being created for him by Mike Rockenfeller. And again, Gary, the shadow right in the Audi boot. Down into this right-hander, but Verena has managed to get hold of Matthias Ekstrom. And tell us what happened in that accident and all the drama that he had. There's Verena, she's got her man.
And I'm here with Matthias Ekström. You were in the middle of the chaos. What drama? How do you judge what happened?
No, I had a very good start of the line and overtook some cars, and going down to the new corner, I felt that everything was pretty much under control. I saw it started messing up in front, and then I think it was Ralph that came way quick, and I got hit on the right rear, and then I hit someone on the front as they were all stuck. Then we repaired the front and went out again, and I could feel the car was not 100% good. But then the wishbone broke, or something on the rear right broke, and then it was over.
What a shame for you. There's a new track layout in turn 4. What do you think of that? There's a new track layout in turn 4. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the track what we had before. And if you watch how much accident we had, I think it's also discipline, but the speed is very high and the corner is very, very tight. There's hardly no space to drive side by side, so that it would happen accidents, I was pretty sure, but it's not up to me to decide the racetrack. I try to do the best whatever they decide, but sure, the old version I would prefer.
All right, thank you very much, Eki. Back to you.
Yeah, an interesting thing is they said that there was 20% more chance to see the cars for the spectators, but because of that new corners, 20% less cars, or a bit more, so didn't really work out. Here is Rockenfeller still in second place and still keeping Paffett behind him. And there is one of the officials. There is Oliver Jarvis trying to get past Martin Tomczyk. Two of the 09 Audis racing together behind the 08 car of Jamie Green. Of course, won the Norris Ring event this year for a third successive year in the same car, incidentally. And presumably that car will go on to a fourth year of racing. And Jarvis into the pits here. And the pit window is open, and it's a very busy pit lane with also Paffett coming in. There is Paffett, hoping that that will give him the break. And a magnificent stop by the boys to HWA, dispatches him in 2.9 seconds. Jamie Green comes out, collides with the Frenchman Primat. Just a little tap. There could be some discussion about that afterwards. Really, the drivers can't see much. They're waved out by the pit crew and they just floor it till the, well, depending where they are on the pit lane, it bounces off the rev limiter. But, wow, that was extraordinary. And Primat there has dropped to position. Here's the Green pit stop. And there he goes. He's released. He just accelerates out. Then Primat's coming already. Primat doesn't lift off. And Jarvis got a very good view of that as well. So a hairy moment in the pits, which of course the pit lane curves right there. So interesting stuff. Timo Scheider in the lead from Rockenfeller. Resta hasn't come in yet. He's in third place. Presumably he will close up on Rocky. Yes, look, he has already. And then Gary Paffett has been in the pits. And now Rocky comes in. The S-Line car run by Team Phoenix. The Phoenix boys go to work. They also run quite a lot of other race series. We run the Audi R8 GT cars, and he comes out in front of the Spengler. And this race yet to really settle down. But Timo Scheider staying out there. There is Spengler trying to get past Rocky. Oh, look at this! Look at Paffett! Look at this battle here, Rockenfeller and Paffett. And can Paffett get through now? Rocky just staying in head of Paffett, but Paffett just that little bit closer. And Spengler stays behind Jarvis. Well, I thought that maybe Gary was going to get Rocky there. He's very close behind now. Look at this. Rocky with lots of experience in Porsches, lots of experience now in Le Mans cars. Gary has been pretty well focused on DTM and of course testing for McLaren over the past 7 or 8 years. And Paffett still behind Rockenfeller. And the next question is, of course, when Paul di Resta comes in, and currently he's not made his first pit stop. Where will Paul di Resta come? Will he come between these two? Will he come in front of them? Will he come behind them? More likely to come behind them, but it's all so close here at Hockenheim. And oh dear, Pramat has thrown it off into the gravel. Not been a great season for Pramat. Tended to make a few too many mistakes. He was off in practice as well on Saturday morning rather. And there is Tomczyk coming out behind Jarvis. Lots of yellow hats there, and well, Spengler not making any really good progress at all. He's behind those two Audis. They'll do everything they can to keep him behind, although the championship is now down to the 3 Mercedes drivers with Ekstrom out, and Pramat comes in to the Team Phoenix garage and he backs it up, and well, I think he's not very happy with himself, and now he's got to think about that. Did something break? I think it did. I think something broke in the rear suspension and threw him off. Certainly looked that way. Look at that. Yes, it has. Actually, could be the front suspension. Yeah, something's gone in the front suspension. And, well, I was blaming Pramat for that. Not his fault. But been a wretched season here. Then Spengler nipped through at the same time. Look at this gravel coming off the car. Well, I've got to believe that something broke there in that front suspension. So at the moment the order is Timo Scheider, Resta, and then Susie Stoddart. Those three have not made their pit stops. Then Mike Rockenfeller. And here is this Rockenfeller-Paffett battle, which has been raging all the way through the race. Jamie Green in 6th position. Jamie not playing his usual long game on the first pit stop. Jarvis 7th, Tomczyk, Spengler, Engel, and pretty sure Pramat will be a retirement. We might only have 10 finishers here today. On board with Spengler. Here's the battle for second. The lead at the moment, Timo Scheider to Paul de Resta, 3.1 seconds. They're doing very similar lap times at the moment. Fastest man out there is actually Oliver Jarvis at the moment, as Timo Scheider, the race leader, comes in, and they want a really snappy sub 3 second pit stop here. Here's the app team boys go to work, snapping those 4. Dunlop's on 3.5 seconds now. Let's see where this brings him out here. The other two coming, and what will the lead be? He easily stays in front of them. So now the big question mark is, where will de Resta come out when he makes his first pit stop? And that doesn't have to come for a while yet. Of course, it leaves Paul in the lead. He's got clear track in front of him. He can get his head down and have a look at the lap times that Paul starts doing. He's just banged in a 21.5 and just done a fastest first section. Turn the timing screen purple. That's what indicates it to us, just as it does in Formula 1. Similar timing system. We've got all the splits here in front of us. Car number 11 was under investigation. That was ages ago, and that was I think all part of that incident. So, and I do see that Oliver Jarvis has been given a black and white flag for leaving the track. That's a warning. Jamie Green under investigation, and also, well, Pramat has obviously had his problems, but Jamie Green, wonder what that one's all about. So, de Resta in the lead. His lead some 15.4 seconds. Rockenfeller is 17 seconds behind him. Paffett is 18 seconds behind him. And a pit stop here, coming in, slowing down, stopping for 3 seconds, going out again. Probably about 19 seconds here at Hockenheim. So relatively quick pit lane. So what Paul needs to do now is see if he can take a bit of time out of Timo Scheider, Rockenfeller and Paffett with some quick laps. He just did a 21.270. That's the same as Rockenfeller's doing. Bit quicker than Gary. Well, this is all about some quick laps. Paul di Resta can win this race now if he can really bang in a series of 4 or 5 quick laps when he's out in the clean air. Let's see what he does. See Timo Scheider just fastest middle sector of the whole race just then. So Timo Scheider is certainly answering the call. This is the gap between Tomczyk and Spengler. And Spengler can certainly see his championship lead dwindling away. A victory here would have made it so much easier, but didn't go well in qualifying. It's not gone well in the race. At least he didn't finish up bogged down in the gravel pit, but not many points will be on the board at the end of this, I suspect. And Timo Scheider just done the fastest lap of the race thus far, 1:20.6. And Paul di Resta at 1:21. So Timo Scheider certainly doing a great job here. Look at Rockenfeller still keeping Gary Paffett behind. And inadvertently these Audi drivers could be determining the outcome of this three-way battle for the championship between the trio of Merc racers. Now Engel comes in. Engel for his that's his second official pit stop. Di Resta still out there. Susie Stoddart in 9th place. She might just be in the points again. Susie scored points on a couple of occasions. The racer originally from Oban, up there in the west of Scotland. There is a nice shot of the Tabac original car of Oliver Jarvis, and a pit stop, a drive-through penalty for Jamie Green. And that is actually for that unsafe release. So that's what that penalty was for. Yeah, I should have sussed that out, but you can't blame Jamie Green for that. He just goes when his team tells him. So that will put him down the field. Jamie had a great first half of the season, but his second half has not been good at all. Be interested to see how he goes in Shanghai, having won the street race at the Norris Ring. We don't really know that many details about the Shanghai street circuit. Oh, and out of control was Bruno Spengler, soaring at the wheel to capture it again, which he did successfully. But that was a bit of a, well, what the bike boys call a tank slapper. Di Resta, though, still out there. And Di Resta's last lap, 21.3. Timo Scheider is taking time out of him on every lap. So it's just not working quite well enough for Paul. And the big question mark now probably will swing to whether Di Resta has done enough to come out ahead of his arch rival and friend and teammate, Gary Paffett. Spengler into the pits for his second pit stop. Misses the men with the brooms. And there's quite a bit of gravel on that pit lane. Fortunately, those tyres are coming off, so if they did pick any up, they're coming off. Mercedes right at the far end of the pits. The new set of Dunlops goes on. And a problem, oh, Spengler, it's just not going his way. Slight fumble there, and he drops another 3 seconds. And again, Timo Scheider, the only man that can put in these sub-21 second laps, 1:21 second laps. Timo had a horror at the start of the season, had a new engineer, was working out that relationship, had a new love of his life and all that relationship, and he left the mother of his child for the new lady. And Bruno Spengler, has he got a confidence crisis now? You can see this championship starting to slip away from him. Great shots from our camera on the side of the car there. Resta still out there, last lap, but matched Timo Scheider within a couple of thousandths of a second. And just looking at De Resta back to Paffett, I think that Paul De Resta could come out in front of Gary Paffett. It's going to be tight, but that's the way it's looking at the moment. Just looking at the timing screen. Here's Paul De Resta. When's he going to make that pit stop? Those tyres, of course, are pretty well used up now, and the car, nevertheless, is lighter on fuel than everyone else, and certainly the lap times are still there, just at a 21.3. That's the same that Timo Scheider did, and Paul just banged at a 20.9. Car's that a little bit lower. And Verina's working hard down there. She's got hold of another driver who's involved in that first lap incident. She's with Miguel Molina.
And now I'm here with Magic Molina. What a shame for you, especially because the DTM today is live in Spain and the race ended so soon for you. What happened, do you think?
Yes, it was disaster because I did a good start, but then in corner number 3, I did a good braking. But then I felt a big hit in my car. It was a Spengler that I don't know where to go. And yes, it was finished for me. Sorry about all the people that are in Spain. And sorry, and we continue pushing.
Now there's a new track layout in turn 4. What do you think of that?
Yes, it's a new corner, but it's difficult to overtake there. But it's like this, and we must go drive with this corner.
All right, thank you very much, Miguel. Back to you guys.
Yeah, the youngster who raced in Formula 3.5 litre Renault last season made a big switch and made the switch well. And there, Spengler obviously has got a problem looking at the rear suspension. He's out. 0 points for him today, and that will make it so much more important that De Resta tries to get at least 6 on the board, and he is still out there on this long first run. Look at the car bouncing around, possibly something in the front suspension. So Bruno Spengler, absolute disaster for him here at Hockenheim. Might still lead the championship going away from here, but the 3 Mercedes guys are going to really close up within a handful of points of each other. And there is Paul De Resta, and the last lap he took another 0.3 of a second out of Timo Scheider, and took a whole 1.3 out of Gary Paffett. And Paul De Resta still to make his first pit stop. Sweeps past the German flag painted on the ground at the entry to the pit lane. Out there in clean air, there's Oliver Jarvis, who's having one of his best runs of the season, who is being chased all the way by Tomczyk, both on apt run cars. And Gary Paffett really, I'm not sure if this is a trend, but his last lap was really very slow at 22.5, maybe had a bit of an off as he comes in now for his second and final pit stop. And this will confuse matters because when Paul De Resta comes in, it will be his first stop. Timo Scheider currently 14.5 seconds behind De Resta. And so Gary Paffett with another great 3-second pit stop. The HWA boys really on fire today. And there he is, back on track. And it's come out in clean air, as you see. The engineer and data engineer working together on that. Get Gary into a good place, and let's see if he can put some really good laps in now. There is the Rockefeller car, and so Here is Paul di Resta then, the de facto leader of the race. He comes in. His tyres go on for 3.9. Remember that team's had some hiccups in the past, but that's reasonable. Here is Rocky coming in. Rocky coming in for his second stop. Now this might be a very short stint from Paul di Resta, but I fancy it won't be. I fancy that he will go quite a long way and then probably just leave the final pit stop to the end of the window. So intriguing stuff here at Hockenheim. There's Jamie Green just behind Mike Rockenfeller. There is Gary Paffett. Paffett with his second and final pit stop done. And now just 9 cars running. The least we've had in the DTM for a very long time. Can't remember the last time we only had 9 cars running. Incidentally, talking to Norbert Haupt this morning and discussing the new 2012 season when the new chassis come along and BMW. He's hoping for a grid of 24 cars, he says. Obviously at the moment we've just got the 18, of which we've lost half here at Hockenheim in this crucial race. And now Verena has got hold of the great Scot himself, David Coulthard, also involved in that first lap incident. Disappointment for David.
And now I'm here with David Coulthard. What exactly happened there? What a big chaos. You were in the middle of it. What do you think happened?
Well, I can see some of the Audi cars were on the inside and they were touching. So I tried to stay to the left to be a little bit safe, just in case there was cars spinning. And then when I was cutting back to rejoin, unfortunately Frankie was touching the side of my car. And I think Ralph was spinning with somebody touched him, and then Catherine was crashing into him. And then when Frankie touched me, I went straight into Catherine. So just a real mess of cars. And it's unfortunate, but it seems to be very aggressive, the start of these races.
A big chaos. What exactly do you think about the new track layout in Turn 4?
Yeah, I think it's another challenge. You know, it's always nice to have something different. And I guess you ask all the drivers, you have 18 different opinions, but my belief is you race the track that the organisers give you and try and make the best of it. So I really enjoy to come to Hockenheim. I think there's always a good reception from the fans. When you consider how cold it is today and how many people have turned up, I think it's fantastic. So sorry for them, there's not more cars on the track.
All right, thank you very much, David. Back to you guys.
Yeah, DC over the Diplomat. So Scheider and di Resta, 1.9 seconds between the pair of them. The race is still very much on here at Hockenheim. Jarvis currently in third, Tomczyk fourth, by dint of the fact they've only made one pit stop. And look at Paul di Resta now. And Paul di Resta just put in a stunning 120.4 second lap, over a second quicker than Timo Scheider, really reeling him in. And now he's just banged in a fastest of the race, sector 1. He's turned the timing screen purple again. And Paul di Resta absolutely on fire here. And he just can see that championship coming now. What can he do about Timo Scheider in front of him? Timo Scheider, who has clinched his 08 and 09 DTM titles here at Hockenheim. Won't happen this year. He's out of the race. Paul di Resta is very much in it. Tension on both the Audi and Mercedes-Benz management stands there as Timo Scheider goes into the pits for his second pit stop. And Paul di Resta then goes back into the lead. Now we need a great stop from the Alp Sport boys. There the Audi top service liveried car comes in. Notice that there was a brand new set of Dunlops going on. Timo Scheider with a completely fresh set. Sometimes they put the scrub ones in, and those tyres might be a little bit quicker in the opening laps. He stays well in front of Rocky. But Rocky has been doing an outstanding job here. And di Resta just looking for his second sector time. It will come up on the timing screen in a minute. But Paul di Resta closing in on Timo Scheider. And then, of course, Timo Scheider then diving into the pits, and now has dropped back to 4th place. So the intrigue will continue. The way to read this race is to keep looking at the lap times of the respective drivers. A little bit like rallying at the moment, looking at their stage times until everyone's made their second pit stop. But Paul de Resta certainly looking hot, but he's not in clean air now, you see. Although, in fact, Maro Engel gives him absolutely huge amounts of room. He goes past Maro Engel, running 9th, and at the bottom of the field, bounces across that bit of runoff there. And this has been a mega quick lap from Paul de Resta as Oliver Jarvis and Tomczyk, who are in a race between the two of them. And it might just be a race to stay in the Audi top squad. And look at the 2 times. Oh, this could be dodgy. And Tomczyk jumps Jarvis there in the pit stop. So just harping back to the Primat interview, Primat saying he's pretty sure that his trouble actually was that deflating tyre, which was a result of his pit lane incident. And again, apologies for the somewhat fruity language. De Resta, there he is, nice clean track in front of him. Coming through the stadium section. Hockenheim, of course, so often the home of the German Grand Prix, sharing that now with the Nürburgring. Paul still pushing hard. And Paul de Resta, certainly that was his fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race, 1:20.182 from Paul de Resta. Remember, he still has 1 pit stop to go. Jarvis has been in there until has Jarvis made his second pit stop? Yes, he has now, of course. And the gap between de Resta and Timo Scheider is currently 18.3 seconds. Now, what Paul really needs to do now is to try and take another couple of seconds out of Timo Scheider. This is difficult for Scheider because he can't probably see de Resta, so he can't judge his pace, but he's getting all that information back from the pits. And again on the first sector, Timo Scheider drops another 0.2 of a second on Paul de Resta. This is cliff-hanging stuff between these two. Although they're not actually racing on the track wheel to wheel, they are effectively racing for the lead at the moment. And that's what happened when Paul finally makes his second pit stop. And Timo Scheider in the middle sector, just a bit quicker than de Resta. Rocky still there in 3rd place. Jamie Green in 4th. And Jamie Green yet to make his second stop. Paffett will move up to that 4th spot. And it looks as if this championship is going to go down to a battle between Spengler and Paul de Resta. And what a steely young man is Paul de Resta from to live just near Edinburgh. There is that current battle for second place. De Resta and Rockenfeller. Rocky will be delighted to get on the podium if indeed he can maintain that. And again, de Resta taking a little bit more time out of Timo Scheider. Just 0.1 of a second that lap. The gap at the moment shown as 18.4 seconds. That's just about the time it takes to get in and out of the pits. The pit stop window will be closing very soon within the next couple of laps. So we'll see Paul come in, and then we should see the race on absolutely wheel to wheel. Here's Paul de Resta certainly going for another lap. There's the gap. And our clock starts, look. And for my money, it will have increased a little bit more. Paul de Resta out on his own. The man who wants to race in Formula 1 next year. This is certainly not hampering his chances. Yeah, another 0.1 of a second. Paul probably would have liked a bit more than that. Look at Timo Scheider, absolutely on the edge here. Timo Scheider, all his worries at the start of the season behind him. Rockenfeller also having his best race of the year. Again, a reminder of that pit stop window. And I suspect on this lap we will see Paul de Resta come in. And he wants to be clean. Remember that those boys in his garage know that they've screwed up a couple of times in the past. In fact, they've lost him one race because of that. Screw up last time. In fact, it was in the last race at the first pit stop. That didn't really cost Paul a race win. And this is the man who there he is, turns in now, and this is crucial. Hearts will be racing on that group of 12 or so men down there as he comes in on the pit speed limiter. Feels oh so slow down the whole long length of that pits, but at least he can get a good release. And there they go to work right on the ratchet guns there, and 3.7, not brilliant but pretty great. And out he goes, and goodness me, and look at this, and he's in front of Timo Scheider, but has he got enough momentum? Yes, he has. He pulls in front of Timo Scheider, and Scheider will try to get by. His tyre still coming up to pressure Paul de Resta. What about this next corner? This is vital. Timo Scheider has to take a shot at him here, has to try and dive down the inside. But Paul defends, and Timo Scheider has to try and go the long way around, tries to cut down the inside. Some of them short shift in that section, but I think Paul keeps it in second. Then now he's moving up the gears, and Paul de Resta, what a brilliant race he's driven. And that strategy with the long first stint has put him into the lead. Raced in a lot of fresh air and put in some stunning lap times. And Rockenfeller, you see back there in third place as we're coming to the closing 13 laps of this ninth round of the DTM. 2 more rounds to go. And this is absolutely fantastic for Paul de Resta. It looks as if he might make it 3 wins in a row. I should know this, I'm not sure that's been done in the DTM for a long time. And Paul de Resta is in the lead. And Timo Scheider now has all the work to do. They go past the pits, and those boys at HWA can congratulate themselves on a swift pit stop that helped Paul, and indeed on the strategy too. Maro Engel there in 9th place will certainly be told to keep out of the way of Paul de Resta. Maybe he can drive a slightly wider car when it comes to the next man up. And already de Resta's lead is 1.2 seconds, and this is where he was launched from the pits. And there you see Timo Scheider. He can see Paul de Resta now, and he knows he's got to try and get by him, and he knows he's going to lose the lead right there, and that's exactly what happened. Still carrying a bit more speed, but into the right-hander, couldn't do anything about it. Hans-Jürgen App shakes his head. In fact, all 3 shake their head at Audi. And Paul de Resta in the lead. Timo Scheider, what's he got left in these final 12 laps? And Paul de Resta has just gone purple again in the first sector. And Paul de Resta is really flying here, and I honestly don't think that Timo Scheider's got anything for him. And look at Rockenfeller. He is still in third place. And there, Maro Engel. Well, Maro Engel keeps sportingly to the inside of the track. Now remember, of course, that Paul is on completely fresh rubber. Both cars will have the same amount of fuel in them now, but Paul's tyres are much fresher, and this has worked out to be a great strategy from their team. Paul de Resta in the lead. And meanwhile, Verena can talk to the man who, at the moment, still leads the championship. Is, of course, the French-Canadian, Bruno Spengler.
And I'm here with Bruno Spengler. Now, what a disaster for you here in Hockenheim. Till now, you were the leader of the championship, but are you aware of the fact that today you could possibly lose the leadership of the championship?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. This weekend was a difficult weekend until now. We have been very unlucky, especially today in the race. The performance was really good, but I was blocked by Martin Tomczyk and Oliver Jarvis, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the race, and today I was very lucky if something broke on the car. We don't know why. We have to see that, and yeah, for sure I'm not happy. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. I will try to fight very hard until Shanghai and still win. I still want to win the championship.
Right, thank you very much, Bruno. Back to you guys.
Of course he does, and selective, aren't they, racing drivers? He forgot to mention that at the new cut-through he went straight on. There is the championship prediction, so indeed Paul will go into the lead with 3 points more than Bruno Spengler, and Gary Paffett will be on 49, still just in the hunt. And after this race, of course, there'll be 20 points left in the bag. So 10 laps remaining here at this Hockenheim race. It certainly hasn't disappointed, but it's not done yet. There's Gary Paffett, though, under pressure from Martin Tomczyk, having one of his best races for a while, and Oliver Jarvis and Susie Stoddart in 7th place. That will certainly be her best ever finish. Mercedes, of course, having not won the driver's title for the last 3 years. Audi did a triple. It will, of course, go to Mercedes-Benz for 2010, whatever happens now. Just looking back at the stats, this is, I think, might be Susie's, yeah, I think it's her 50th DTM race, and yeah, she's had 1/7 in the past, a couple of seasons ago, if I remember correctly. This is turning out to be a good battle now between Paffett, Tomczyk and Oliver Jarvis, and of course I'm sure if Paul di Resta could see this, he'd be secretly hoping that these two boys can get past Gary Paffett, although they are good mates. You often see them in the Mercedes-Benz marquee, sharing a joke and certainly eating together. A few words there from Ralf Schumacher. I wonder if he'll be back in the DTM next year. Oh, look at this! Oh, Tomczyk, a bit of a do-or-die effort there, locked up and very nearly got past Gary Paffett. And I think Gary probably is struggling a bit with the rubber on the Mercedes now. Gary Paffett, who won the 2 previous Hockenheim races. Look at Jarvis. Jarvis comes alongside Tomczyk. Oh, this is sterling stuff here, and Tomczyk has got the outside line, and Jarvis almost gets past, but Tomczyk just manages to pull ahead of him. And now Jarvis is in the right line, and Jarvis tries to come through, and they're side by side, but no. The Red Bull and Cola car manages to stay ahead with Martin Tomczyk. Oh, what a super battle between those. Give the fans something to cheer as well. And look at Susie Stoddart. She's having a super race. Look, she's right up with him as well. Very strong effort from Susie Stoddart here. And now we can have a replay of some of these incidents. That was Martin Tomczyk. Oh, it did put my teeth back in, just touch Gary and knocked him slightly sideways. Oh, that was was it? Well, it was just a kiss, wasn't it, if anything? And this was Jarvis trying to go down the inside. And, well, they left about a couple of inches between them. And racing between the 2 teammates, despite the different colours. So, Paul di Resta, his lead now, while all this has been going on, has been extended to 7.5 seconds. Rockenfeller is now within 5 seconds of Timo Scheider. And here is Timo Scheider in a firm 2nd place. I just think that maybe his tyres are also in trouble. There's Mauro Engel in 9th. Mauro with damage from that first lap incident, and then this battle going on here. Paffett, Tomczyk, Jarvis. absolutely at it in best DTM style. They are crashing and banging over the rumble strip there. And Paul di Resta not putting in the sub 121s anymore now in the 121.7 his last lap. But strange enough, the quickest man out there at the moment is Jamie Green down in 8th place. And he's about 3.5 seconds behind Susie Stoddart. Remember, he's had the drive-through penalty. So still this battle goes on. Here's a nice close-up shot of Gary Paffett leaping it over the curbs. The C-Class Mercedes-Benz look-alike. That is Paul di Resta's car. He spent a lot of time working on these suspension settings, of course, and you don't see them, but there's tremendous effort goes into the shock absorbers. Lots of technology there, and look at this. Tomczyk and Jarvis absolutely racing wheel to wheel. And I think there probably is quite a bit at stake here. At least they're showing Dr. Ulrich that they've still got it, but Susie Stoddart all the time is closing up on them. And there Susie goes through in the pink car. Certainly her best DTM performance. Remember, she's in one of the older 08 cars. And now we can go down to the pits again, I think, and hear from someone else who's involved in that. Here's Frankie Cheng, and the China race coming up, of course.
And now I'm here with Kung Fu Cheng, or to make it easier, Frankie, now the race ended way too soon for you. What happened?
To be honest, it was just a really mad T4, and I just turned in and I just realized that David was just right in front of me, crashed into Catherine, and I had nowhere to go, and unfortunately crashed into David. So it was really unlucky for both of us, and that's how it is.
Now there's a new track layout in Turn 4, which might have been the reason for this collision. What do you think of that?
Well, if it's creating more excitement for the fans, then I think it's a good one.
But also it means a lot less cars on the track now.
Absolutely, no one wants to make this happen, but unfortunately that's racing.
All right, thank you very much, Frankie, and back to you guys.
Yeah, at breakfast I was talking to the man from Mercedes-Benz China, and they're certainly excited about that upcoming Shanghai race. He'd brought a gaggle of Chinese journalists over here, not sure what they made of it. I noticed that they'd concocted some unusual breakfast dishes. While we were having eggs and bacon, they were just going to have soup and were dunking something in it, but that's by the by. Di Resta in the lead now by almost 10 seconds. And Paul di Resta will come away from here a very happy man, assuming he reels off these final 5 laps. And there he is, all out on his own now, turning into that fast first corner again. About 180 kilometres an hour, takes it in 4th gear. Accelerates up to the next right-hander, which is called the Einfahrt Parabolica, and 2nd gear through there, and then up to the best part of 240 kilometres as we switch away from him and go to Timo Scheider. And remember, Paul still's got the freshest tyres thanks to that brilliant strategy into this final 4 laps, and Paul's just got to reel off those laps. Mario Engel locks it all up and goes into there too deep, and Jamie Green whistles past him, but remember, Engel a lap behind, and Green now closing up on Susie Stoddart. There's Paul di Resta then. Came up through single-seater racing, was a Formula 3 Euro champion, and in that year beat a number of drivers who are now in Formula 1. Gary Paffett has obviously got some sort of problem, because he's backed everybody up there, and Gary not wanting to let them by. because he wants those points so desperately, could keep him in the championship hunt. But Gary's obviously got a problem in these closing laps, and he's really concertinaed these boys up. Look, and there is Tomczyk, Jarvis, and Susie Stoddart, and Jamie Green. Well, we had an amazing start to this race with almost half the field wiped out. We've had a great performance by Paul de Resta. Looks as if Timo Scheider had the speed to win this early on, but then Paul came on strong with a great first stint which went long, which put him in an outstanding position. And we've had the drama for Bruno Spengler, the French Canadian, who's led the championship most of the way. Now drops back into second place. He's in the garage now, out of all this. We've got half the field here in our picture. We've only got 9 cars running, and there's best part of 5 of them. And there, Gary Paffett still defending his position, wanting those points for 4th place that will keep his championship hopes alive. And Mercedes-Benz star rides high. And what do we got here? A bit of nice slow-mo of Susie Stoddart with the St Andrews cross there on the mirrors, although she no longer lives in Scotland. I think she's based in Switzerland these days, Susie, as are many of these drivers, incidentally. Closing 2 laps, can Gary keep them all behind him? Well, he'll try his damnedest. Attendance, I said that before, they reckon 140,000, that's over the 3 days. And there's a lot of grandstand seats here. I think the grandstands here in the main arena can actually seat about 170, 180,000. It's a magnificent forum for racing here at Hockenheim. And of course, a couple of autobahns either side of the racetrack, midway between Frankfurt and Stuttgart. Well, Gary Paffett then hanging on. Paul de Resta's lead now up to 10.7 seconds. Mike Rockenfeller's closed in a little bit on Timo Scheider. But Gary Paffett continues. Well, there, Norbert Haug, the boss of Mercedes Motor Racing, deep in thought. But he may have had some problems with his Grand Prix team this year, but what a year of DTM it's been for him. And Gary hangs on then. Will Tomczyk try and have a run at him? And Rockenfeller's not that far ahead of them. The gap now will about 5 seconds. There's the de Resta to Scheider gap, was 10.7, and now it's dropped to 10.2. Gary just reeling off the final lap. Jamie Green getting a little bit out of shape. He'd like to get past Susie Stoddart, I'm sure. On to the last lap then. And Paul de Resta. What a race it's been for him. Paul de Resta. His last 4 results. Second, first, and should be first again. Jamie Green decides to have a look at Susie Stoddart, and Gary still seems to have enough pace to keep Tomczyk and the rest behind him. 5 of the 9 cars all circulating together here on this closing lap at this 9th round of the DTM. Remember, Adrian 2 weeks time, that'll be a cracker, and then the unknown qualities of the street race in Shanghai, and it could all come down to that. Bruno Spengler, let's not forget him, might have lost the lead of the championship, but he's been having a great season, and he might yet bounce back. Paul de Resta though, there he is. Paul de Resta takes the victory. The flares go off, and it's been fireworks all the way from Paul de Resta. He swerves to his pit crew to say thank you. The whole commentary box rocked here when the flares went off. And let's just see, Gary does keep them all behind, so Timo Scheider comes home 3rd. Rocky makes it onto the podium. Great weekend for the Le Mans winner. Then Gary Paffett, and they're the last of the 9 survivors coming home. And already we've got the safety cars on the track. And, well, it was about 70 minutes of absolutely cracking action, but I think we've already got Norbert Haug down there with Verena for his comments. And of course, he'll be a very happy man indeed, and probably has lost his voice more or less.
What an exciting and absolutely brilliant race that was. And of course, I'd like to congratulate Norbert Haug, who of course is congratulating all his colleagues. Now, Norbert Haug, what a brilliant race. Congratulations, not only because Paul won the race, but also the Drivers' Championship has been decided today. You must be very, very happy.
Yes, I am. Paul won the third race in a row. This only happened the first time here since 1993, 17 years in DTM. But it was amazing. We had a perfect strategy, perfect speed, great job from Paul. Unfortunate for Bruno. But the championship is open, but we know that we are winning the championship, which is a good feeling.
And a little private question, are you going to celebrate tonight?
Let me think about it.
I think that was a clear yes. All right, thank you very much, Norbert Haug, and back to you guys.
Yeah, I bet Verena gets invited to that celebration as well. And Norbert, he works so hard. He works over 30 weekends a year, of course, every Formula One race, every DTM race, and other activities at weekends. I don't know if he has any private life at all, but at least he likes to celebrate after the end of a race meeting. And there, the donuts from Gary Paffett, and certainly making it almost look, there's Jamie Green circulating as well, doing the 180s. And we've still got more fireworks going off. It's almost like the end of the season in a way, because they always have these fireworks when this Hockenheim brings the season to a close. And still the flares are going up. Quite a scene here at Hockenheim. And, well, an absolutely cracking race. Some of the best action, of course, was not with the two main contenders, Paul di Resta and Timo Scheider, running side by side. But I hope I could bring to you the times that Paul was doing that took him into the lead. And so we got fireworks of many different colours here, and cars disappearing into the smoke. Just look at that scene there in front. And now Verena has got hold of the Audi boss, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, who naturally be a little disappointed.
And I'm here with Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. It could have been so nice. Timo Scheider starting in pole position, fell back into second place, followed by Mike Rockenfeller. What do you think about the race?
I mean, it was a race that didn't start so nice because of the accident, and some cars have been falling out. And after the damage on the car of Matthias Ekström, so it was clear that we couldn't interfere to the championship anymore, which was quite hard. Then I think we had quite some good pace, seeing that Paul was very, very fast. And at the end, he had the tick of pace more than us, so we couldn't hold him back. And we also have to say that the lap time exactly before the pit stop was not a perfect one, so it was just the half of a second that was missing to stay in front of Paul. And then, when Paul was in front, seeing what pace he had, we just made it calm and driving a 2 and 3 at home.
Timo Scheider won the championship twice in a row for Audi, but I guess today was decided, the Drivers' Championship was decided for Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I mean, after Eki was out of the race, it was clear that one of the 3 Merc drivers would make it, and yeah, that's reality. We had it 3 times in a row, which never happened before, so we are looking to the next season.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ulrich.
Looking for the next season, and of course, let's not forget that Audi had a spectacular victory over Peugeot this year at Le Mans 24 Hours. There's the drivers' points. Di Resta 63, Bruno Spengler drops to second with 60, Gary Paffett on 49, Timo Scheider out the hunt on 37. Officials directing the drivers to the podium. Still the fireworks are going off here. So a spectacular, if cold day. And indeed, there's a bit of a replay now of the fireworks. They were so good. That's the result. And Paul di Resta winning in 1 hour, 7 minutes, 27.578. Timo Scheider, some 10.5 seconds behind. Then Rockenfeller. Gary Paffett doing a great job at the end to keep those others behind him, despite presumably tyre problems. Tomczyk, Jarvis, Susie Stoddart, excellent 7th place for her, equaling her best ever. And Jamie Green in 8th. Maro Engel with problems, 9th. And then all the various drivers who went out of this race, basically half the field. And look, that smile on Paul di Resta's face says it all, but he knows that it's not over yet. Young man that came up through karting, then Formula Renault. Then in 05 with help from Dario Franchitti, his cousin, he finished 10th in the F3 Euro Series, but in 06, of course, he won it. In 07, he moved into the DTM. Finished 5th in the championship in 08. He was 2nd, and in 09 he finished 3rd in the championship. There's the Lord Mayor of Hockenheim, Dieter Gummer, presents the trophy there to Timo Scheider. And word for Paul's engineer, Axel Randolph. More trophies for the shelf or the trophy room, and that one will sit alongside the Le Mans 24-hour winner trophy for Rocky. And now the bubbly will spray. So fun and games up there on the podium. Great day for Paul di Resta. But now I'll be concentrating on the race in 2 weeks' time at a track that he doesn't know nearly as well as this. I'm not sure if he's ever raced at Adria before. DTM, of course, has been there in the past, but it's been a while. In fact, there's been 2 previous DTM races at Adria, and then none of them will know the track at Shanghai. It was that exhibition race 6 years ago now, but this track, apparently this street circuit, is different. They're not racing on the Grand Prix circuit. They are racing on a street track down in the financial area of Shanghai. And there, Mike Rockenfeller coming home to his best result for quite a long time. Has had a 2nd once in the DTM, but 3rd was an excellent result today. Timo Scheider gave his best and led, but was 2nd.
Coming over to Mike, the first time since your 2nd DTM race that you're on podium, and now, let me guess, 38 or 39 races later, you're back on the winner's stage. Must be a really good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. It took me quite a long time, like you said, but DTM is tough, and I went through some tough years and some tough races, but finally I found the way back to the podium, and I'm really, really pleased. Of course, to be in the first row and on the start and being 2nd, you wish to finish 2nd, but obviously we all saw that Paul was different planet today, and unfortunately we had not so much against him. It was close with Timo, I think, after the 2nd pit stop for Paul, but he managed to be in front. I think my race was, the difficult part was to keep Gary behind. He was pushing quite hard at the beginning, and I managed to keep him behind, and after the first pit stop then I could push. My 2nd set of tires was really good, and I could make a big gap. That was nice. Then at the end I was just carrying it home. I had some vibration from pickup, and there was a lot of dirt on the track, so I was just careful and saving the 3rd place because it means a lot to me and the team.
1 or 2 or 3 hours before the race, the so-called experts in exclamation marks said it's only a matter of time when Gary catches Mike. How did you manage to keep him behind?
Well,
because he was pushing really hard.
But I mean, there's no secret. You just block the line and try to be quicker, make no mistake. And I mean, I've done that before as well against Gary this year on Lausitzring. We had a good fight for almost the whole race. So I was not extra nervous or anything. I just tried my best.
Also, a future question to you: sitting here on the podium, achieving this 3rd place in an older car. Was that today a driven application for a newer car in the next year?
Well, you have to ask my boss, but
I will.
in general, I would say I try always my best. This year is so far very good. It started really well with the new team, Team Phoenix for me, and Le Mans was the highlight personally. And now hopefully I can have 2 more good races, and then we see what happens.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations again, 3rd place today. But coming back to you, Paul, before I ask you a celebration question, you're the new championship leader. Also, congratulations to that. 3 points ahead of Bruno. How will you try to defend that little gap? Because we know Bruno had 1 bad race today, but he'll be back stronger.
Yeah, he will, and I'm aware of that. We've had a good run until now, but as I said before, there's still 20 points up for grabs. 2 very long races, 2 races which not a lot of people know much about. Some of these guys have raced at Adria. I've never even seen the layout, so it's a new challenge. And then Shanghai is going to be another challenge. So you have to be well concentrated. I'm sure the team will help me as much as possible, and we'll certainly fight all the way. But you have to have the same approach I've had for the last 5 races, and I'm just going to stay as focused as possible.
Okay, now the party question: can you have more than 1 beer tonight?
I'm sure we can, and I'm sure Mercedes will celebrate quite a lot. It's a bit strange to come to Hockenheim and not kind of have a big blowout on a Sunday night. We have to be semi-professional about it. I'm already starting to travel again on Tuesday to Korea, so need to be a bit careful. I have my other job to do next week, and then have to be focused again for Adria. So but we have to be happy. We have a lot of guests here, a lot of support, and it's been tremendous.
Okay, a recommendation from me: drive fast and drink slowly. Thank you, Paul. And now the last part of this press conference are the quotes in native language.
Well, typical Peter Reichardt quote there. So Paul de Resta is the man today. He has won here at Hockenheim and put himself at the top of the championship table. I've enjoyed it. So has Verena.
As promised, it was a very exciting race here in Hockenheim, and in first place it was Paul de Resta. Not only that, he is now also the leader of the championship, so that certainly is truly exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks when we go to Italy, to Adria. So you don't want to miss that. See you then. Bye-bye.